And the idea of the app was that it used the iPhone GPS to find out in which restaurant you were in. And then by scanning the package, they actually produced over 188 million pieces of cardboard packages for different products. So by activating the app and by scanning the package, it was possible to figure out, based on the restaurant you were in and based on the McDonald's supply chain software, from what farm the ingredients came from. And here's the case film showing how it worked.
For over a decade, McDonald's have been trying to change the negative perceptions of their food. They've tried using traditional channels, but 50% of Australians still just don't trust their ingredients. It's clear they needed to change the way they tell their story for people to be open to the message. In fact, stop telling altogether and start inviting people to discover the stories for themselves. Introducing Track My Maccas, an activation driven by an augmented reality app that for the first time ever lets customers track some of the ingredients in the actual food they just bought when it matters most, when they're about to eat it. They simply point their phone at one of the 188 million specially designed boxes and the app does the rest. The phone's GPS knows which restaurant you're in. Image recognition software knows what you're about to eat, and by combining this with the date and time, it accesses McDonald's vast and comprehensive supply chain in real time. The app gets tracking in an instant, pinpointing exactly where the ingredients came from, and that's where the fun starts. Cutting-edge 3D augmented reality takes the rather dry supply chain data and brings it to life. Tables turn into stages, letting users pick an ingredient and find out all about it. The story changes depending on where they are in the country and who supplies that restaurant. Along the way, users can meet real farmers, bakers and fishermen who supply the ingredients and then share what they discover on Facebook, inviting their friends to get tracking too. The mobile app is a whole new way for McDonald's to engage people directly in a conversation about their food. Other media reinforce the message, from truck sides and POS to location-specific posters individually tailored to local farms and suppliers, getting the freshness of their ingredients back on the agenda in a way that people not only engaged with, but would drive the conversation themselves. So, did people try it? You bet. It seems if you want to change people's opinions, don't just tell them, let them discover it for themselves.
The full journey through 3D augmented reality world. And they also got a lot of media impressions. So what are the learnings here? Is that I interviewed Dylan Harrison from DDB Sydney, who was the agency behind this campaign. And I think that the point he made was extremely valuable in terms of PR strategy. If you want people to believe something, then maybe we should stop telling them and let them discover it for themselves. So this is human psychology. If you tell people something, they don't believe you. But if they find out the information by themselves, even though they use the channel or the information you give them, they tend to believe it more. So this was a very clever way of convincing people about actually busting the myth of McDonald's using the ingredients from faraway countries and bad quality. So they really invited the audience into the process to discover it. Of course, with a campaign like that, there is a risk with transparency. And if you're McDonald's or any other company and you do something like that, you better make sure that you don't have any skeletons in the closets, because people find it out. So you really have to be brave, but you also have to be sure that it works. Another issue, of course, is technical, because it was a really large-scale campaign. They printed over 188 million packages. Of course, it was not only because of that particular app, but they had to print new packages anyway. But they did it, and also they actually allowed access to their supply chain software, which is another big risk, because imagine somebody hacking into that system and doing something bad. So they were really brave in doing it, but they succeeded, and we haven't been able to find out any major problems. So I think they actually made it happen in a very high quality way. The next area I would like to talk about is branded payment apps. And this is a case study from the UK, Royal Bank of Scotland, which is really one of the oldest banks. They operate in the UK under different brands, including NatWest and Ulster Bank. But they have several problems. First insight they got was that people tend to forget their plastic cards at home. And when you're out and you need cash, you don't have a card with you, you have a problem. The other issue is that if you read media, especially the media that is writing about new trends and technology, you discover that plastic cards are under attack, and all more innovative ways of payment are the future. Another big issue is that like everywhere, then especially in the UK, the banks were under attack when the recession started few years ago, and RBS had several other problems. They had their IT malfunctioning, a lot of bad press, and actually they even said that they were under a fire or attack from a general public. The number of articles criticizing RBS was really huge. So they had to do something about it. They had to do something about their image, something to save their business. Another insight was that the problem with the banks is that people, they have a saving account in a bank, but they really don't visit the bank, or they don't have any kind of a personal connection with the bank. So it's even not needed. So the average personal connection between the customer and the bank is once in 5 years. So people, once they open their account, they don't need to go there anymore, because everybody's using internet banking, and the cards are renewed automatically. You really don't need to go there. No personal touch at all. So what the marketing department at the RBS decided was to start a campaign with a very kind of ambitious title, "Here for You." But what this campaign actually meant was that they just promised to extend opening hours by 2 hours. So that was pretty much it. Very ambitious slogan. In fact, 2 hours more opening hours, nobody cares. And although the marketing people tried to do something good for the reputation of the bank, this was another reason for a fire. So they got additional criticism that people are saying that, is that what you do? Is 2 hours more opening hours, is that what you mean by "Here for You"? So another bad press. So finally, they came out with a solution called Get Cash. And this was a quite simple, genius, but so far unique solution that enabled people to retrieve money from ATM without the plastic card. So it was just possible to send an SMS, activate an app, and get a unique code to access ATM machine and retrieve money from it. And here's the film explaining it in a Scottish accent.
I was down in London a couple of years ago and I got pickpocketed, and I had no cash, nothing left, so I was stranded.
A bad situation at a train station and had to get back to Edinburgh and had to phone my husband, and he had to pay with his card over the phone, and it was a bit traumatic and nearly didn't get back.
I actually have the RBS banking app myself, yeah, I do indeed, so I use that a fair bit. I was using it this morning. It'd be a great thing to have if friends or family if you're going to pay bills or rent or electricity bills or so, and if your friend goes, take 20 quid out there for myself to pay for the bill.
The idea is very, very good. Like, we definitely beneficial.
If I'd done a job for somebody and the guy could send me the PIN and I could go to the bank and get it out, that'd be a lot better.
My daughter's 13 now, so she's starting to go out and about on her own, and if she was ever stranded and like far away with no money, that would be perfect for her.
Easy.
That's
and then
amazing.
you just type that in.
That's good, that's good. Genuinely good. My wife would love it, the wife and the kids. Yeah, text me some money.
I think I'd get that app.
Yeah,
It's like,
certainly.
I think I was considering changing to the Royal Bank anyway. I might go and actually see them now.
So the results were good. The communication started to revolve around the get cash. So the promise here for you actually finally had a meaning. And it broke all the records. Over 5.5 million pounds retrieved since the launch. Over 160,000 get cash requests to date. And it's like 7,000 requests per week, which is quite a lot. Some learnings from here. Nigel was from the agency Sapient Nitro, who was behind the campaign, said that when you launch a marketing campaign, you should, from the very beginning, start to think about connecting the communications and the service at the stage of a concept. So this here for you thing, very often the problem is that marketing departments come up with an empty slogan without, any actual benefit behind it. So this time it was kind of the other way around. They came out with a slogan first and then created the product after that. So they were lucky, but in an ideal world it should have been done in a other way. And when I asked what really makes a truly great app, the answer was that it has to be extremely utile. So people really need it to use it. So the utility aspect is very important. And if it's really great, then the users will praise it themselves. So it's the word of mouth communication is the best way of communication you can ever imagine, and the great product actually will help with that. So rather than the bank telling you about it, have your bank's customers to tell about it. Another example, I don't have a longer case study here, but when I looked at the branded app charts, then Starbucks was one of the most popular branded apps there is, especially in the US. And I don't know if it works here as well, but in the US, Starbucks has a loyalty program included in the app, including the payment. And in the US, right now, 14% of people actually already pay by using the app in the Starbucks restaurants or cafeterias. So it's really another example of a very high utility application, and the mobile money concept is really in life there. So that's one of the main reasons why Starbucks app is so successful. And the interesting thing about the Starbucks is that they were really early adopters in mobile marketing. And I remember already 4 or 5 years ago in the UK, they had very complicated geolocation-based campaigns with quite poor results. And when I talked to their agencies, I asked why they're doing it. They said that, they really want to reinforce the image of Starbucks being ahead, being really truly innovative brand. And they were, kind of clever. They foresaw the trend, and because they started so early, they made mistakes. They made several unsuccessful campaigns, but they learned along the way, and now they are finally really ready for the mobile world, and they're ahead of their competitors in that sense. So it really pays off to experiment, to be there early, and learn and be ahead of your competition. Another area of successful branded apps is what I call alarm apps. Because as you all know, alarm is one of the most used feature of the mobile phone. And people don't use alarm clocks anymore, so alarm is is definitely a mobile thing. And here are a couple of examples. The first one comes from Thailand. And it's not actually a wake-up alarm, it's a little bit different alarm. And the brand is Cafe Amazon. It's the largest coffee chain in Thailand. And Cafe Amazons are attached to gas stations, over 650 gas stations in Thailand. And their brand promise is to be a traveler's buddy. So drivers depend on Cafe Amazon to stay fresh during the travels. The main issue in Thailand is drowsy driving. So they're hardworking people, they fall asleep, many accidents happen. And of course, Cafe Amazon, being the traveler's buddy, had to do something about it because they felt it's their problem as well. So they wanted to find a way to help their customers to arrive at the destination safely. And in Thailand, they celebrate the New Year in April. And this is the time when most people, drive long distances. And this is when the most accidents happen. So they decided to launch this solution just before the New Year, when people travel the most and the accidents are higher. So it was launched the spring last year. And they partnered with agency BBDO Bangkok and launched a campaign called Drive Awake. It's a mobile app that is utilizing the eye tracking technology. So the drivers just install the phone on their, it only worked on iPhone. So the drivers install the iPhone on a windshield, and then the phone camera, they monitor their eyes and face movements and determined when the driver was about to fall asleep.